My name is Dr. Kyle Troyer, and I am pleased to take this opportunity to give thanks to Dr. Michael Kale and what he's meant in my life. I am an upper cervical doctor because of Dr. Michael Kale, and the story is a special one for me, and it goes back to the last seminar when Dr. Kale was on the planet. This was sometime in the spring of 2001. He graduated in July of 2001. So the last seminar that he was here was my first Kale seminar. I'll never ever forget. It was the Friday, Saturday seminar. All day Friday, all day Saturday. And Friday morning, Dr. Kale sat in the back, and all of us were up front. I was soaking up all this new knowledge and this information, and it was just kind of really, I was really enjoying the process. But what really tipped it for me, what really was the turning point, was when Dr. Kale stood up at lunch and he said, "Okay, all new people up front." And everybody left, got up and left to go to the Beacon or wherever they go, for these seminar lunches. And so I'm like, okay, well, that's me. I've got to stay here and listen. And I did. There's about 5 of us that sat around a table up front. Dr. Kale came up, and he started to just pour out chiropractic philosophy and passion and principle. It was amazing, and I was sitting there thinking, gosh, this man, he is so fired up about what he's doing. I've got to have some of this. And he just literally laid it out there for us. In fact, there was another doctor came up, and he said, "Doc, you got to cut it off." I didn't know at this time that Dr. Kale really wasn't doing that well. And I kind of had an idea, but I didn't know how far gone he was or how far really struggling he was at that point. Man was running on 10% cardiac output. And then pretty soon, he's still talking. Mama Charlotte came up and said, "Doc, you got to knock it off." And finally, it took literally 2 people, one under each arm, dragging him backwards out of the room, and he was still talking. I can't tell you a word that he said, but it was the passion that really spoke to me. And he showed me from that point, I knew it was a split in the road. I could go this way, or I could go the way that Dr. Kale was leading me. And I chose that path, and it's absolutely changed my life. And now Dr. Kale left the seminar after that lunch, and he did not come back. And Saturday night, after the seminar, that's when we go to the mansion. And we went out to the castle, and sure enough, met Mama Charlotte there that night, and she said, "Dr. Kale, after he was done with you guys on Friday noon, he had to come home, and he's been laying in bed since then. It took so much out of him." And that really just showed me, what Dr. Kale was all about, how much he loved this, and it's just absolutely changed my life. So I want to say thank you to Dr. Kale. Your passion and principle and what you gave to this profession is absolutely just beyond comprehension, and I am so pleased to be a part of it. And because you took that time for me and us, thousands, 100,000s, millions of lives have been changed. Thank you. Thank you.